And flush, you got a surface that you can really love tap it. Now when I say love tap, that's a mechanical term. It's one of my favorite fun mechanic terms that you get to have being a mechanic. It sounds sweet and nice, but it means to hit passionately. And when I mean passionately, I mean you take your inner redhead, you take all your frustration, everything you've had for like the last year, and you put it all into one good solid hit with a sledgehammer. That's a love tap. It helps to scream sometimes, you know, like this hammer's not like the biggest hammer, it's just close. But you take it like this, you just go, ah! And you just hit with all you've got, and that's a love tap. So that's what you do on the end of this. It takes a lot of force because it's it gets rusted in there pretty good. But once you do that, you get this out of the way, and then we'll go to how to do the wheel joint, which is basically just a U-joint like any other. But what I like to do, these all have inside clips on this particular model. You take a screwdriver and you take you put it on the very inside of it. I don't know how well you can see it, I think that this is in frame. But you take the screwdriver, put it up to the clip, and then you take a hammer and you just tap it off. You do that for all four of them, and then you stick it in the vise so that the vise is open enough to fit this portion down through it. And then what you do is let part of it sit there, and then you get your hammer and you do some more love tapping. I enjoy doing these ones. So you hit it on this part right here. You don't want to hit the cap, but you just hit it there, and that puts this down into the jaws of the vise, and it presses this cap up by hitting it just next to it down. You just do that for all of them. You got to take both caps out per each one to thread it out of there. You'll see what I mean once you get going. So hit this cap all the way out, flip it over, hit this cap all the way out, and then pull the U-joint out. Set this part aside and then work the U-joint out of this one, and then just assemble it the reverse. And when you go to assemble them, what I do is I'll take the here's a U-joint right here. I'll take these caps off of all of them, and you look inside there, there's those little needle bearings. If you just do it straight out of the box, those needle bearings, one of them is going to fall over in the bottom, and it won't seat down all the way. You'll have to start over and bang it back out, maybe even ruin the U-joint. So what I do is I take a little bit of grease on my pinky out of the grease bucket, and I stick my pinky finger in there and twist it. And what that does is that, you know, say this is the needle bearing, it makes a little ramp in the bottom of it out of the, or a support, like a flying buttress. You know, speaking of castellated nuts and all kinds of medieval stuff, it makes a buttress up against those needle bearings so that when you're banging on it, love tapping and doing all that stuff that you love to do, those needle bearings stay in place so you don't have to do it over again. So you get that squished down in the bottom with some extra grease, and it's going to press some out. You're going to have a little that you got to wipe off at the end. But oh man, U-joints are fun. I mean, they can be frustrating, but you know, if you're working on cars, you're going to build up a little frustration, and those love taps just help get it out. I tell you what, they're a good time, and they pay good too, so all the better. Now, I always wipe your tools off before you put them away. So when you go to put it back together, you've got those caps. Put one cap in one side, tap it just a little, barely enough to hold it, and then you stick the wheel joint in there. You know, you stick it in the other side first. You know, it's like doing parallel parking. You go in this way, and then you put it in the cap, flip it over, put a cap in the top, and then you got your anvil part of your vise. That's what that's for. You set that down with your cap in there, and you just kind of tap them down in. One of them will seat a little further than the other one. Clip that one first. Put those little moon-shaped clips or whatever into the one that goes first. Flip it over, and then hang over the edge of your anvil just a little bit so that the cap can go out just a little bit, and tap your other one down in there until it bottoms out on that clip you just put in. Then you put in your other clip, and then just repeat for the rest of them. It's fun. It's a good time, I'll tell you what. It's like punching a bully in the face. You know, being a redhead, you know, like I got picked on a little bit when I was a kid. My dad always used to tell me, you know, you don't start a fight, but you can finish it. And he says, you hit them in the nose first. You do that, they can't see. And I'm going to go off here for just a minute on a tangent. But I tell you what, if somebody's been stealing your books and they've been like spitting on you and stuff like that, nothing satisfies like just hitting them in the nose. It's fun. But doing these things and love tapping and stuff, it's a good time. I enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. So anyway, I just thought I'd share that with you. Next thing you want to do is you take your axle, you throw it on in there, and it just goes in just like this. You line up your holes so that they're like that. You won't want to draw it in or press it in. You want to let the bolts do it. And the reason why is if you see the bolt in there, you just start to thread that sucker in there and it'll start pulling it in. You want to do it evenly. You want to rotate amongst the three, and you're just going to have a lot of fun with that too. That's a fun thing. So anyway, I hope that's helpful. If it is, go ahead and rate it 5 stars. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments below. And I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to see more videos like this, please feel free to subscribe. Thanks, and I love you, and good luck.